All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yo. What's going on, Hog fans? Another moral victory for the Razorbacks. Plenty of those this year. Plenty of moral victories for Arkansas in 2023. Very, very, very disappointed once again in what we witnessed tonight. I may not do walk and talks. I may not, walk after Pittman gets done with his presser. I'm sitting down and I'm just as furious, just as angry. It is. It's gotten to that point where it's like when we said weeks ago, "Where there's smoke, there's fire." We had no idea how accurate that really was. And I wasn't the only one saying that. I know that there were people in chat, and there were some other folks on Twitter. This is. I don't have the words. I mean, they do what they can up front on the offensive line in terms of swapping out personnel. It's just not working. I mean, it's just not working. And the rushing offense tonight, Ole Miss is not a good defense, okay? I'm not sure how good they really are. I think they're a pretty good football team. Who knows? The SEC West looks wide open. They did lose to Bama, but does maybe Bama's found their footing on offense a little bit? They looked pretty decent against a decent team. But you struggled moving the ball against one of the worst defenses in this conference. Them and LSU are very, very similar. Now, I mean no disrespect to Ole Miss fans. Come basketball season, I think it'll be a lot more fun for Razorback games, post-game shows for basketball season. I know who your head coach is, but I think it's going to take more than a single off season for him to get things figured out over there. But they're going to be better in basketball. This right now just looks like it can't be fixed. We have passed into that realm of holy shitness. You know what I mean? I feel the exact same way sitting here now, 40 years old, 2023, coming up on the middle of October. I feel the exact same way now that I did in 2019 when Chad Morris was here. Now then, their defense wasn't as well put together as Arkansas's. Guys, this is horrible. Now, they certainly put together a couple decent drives. Their opening score shouldn't have happened to begin with. Ole Miss got hit with a soft PI call. Shouldn't have been that. I mean, come on. That was soft as hell. Should have been a 3-and-out. Instead, they turned that into 15 plays or something. Ate up a bunch of clock, and they managed to finish off the drive with the score. They looked decent. Even on third down and longs, it looked like, well, maybe they figured this thing out. But once again, no fluidity, no chemistry. The offense is abysmal. The offense looks like all of their heads are so far up their asses. Everybody's head is so far up their ass on offense. The coaches have no idea what to do. They have no idea what to do. They don't know. How do we fix this? I don't know. Put Kutas at center. Oh, hell, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It is Chad Morris all over again on the offense. I remember this in 2019. They were swapping guys out 6 games into the year on the offensive line, trying to plug the gaps, and they still can't do it. Here's what I don't understand. I talked about this in the halftime show in Discord. Why is Brett Venables? Now, I get they're Oklahoma, and I get that they're in the Big 12, that soft-ass conference. I agree. But why in year 2 does that team mirror who that coach is? They're a damn good defensive unit. Now, their stats a little, they're in the Big 12. They got to play these high-powered offenses. But that team mirrors their head coach. Why in year 4 does this team not reflect its head coach who spent the last 30 years before becoming the head coach of the University of Arkansas? Why does it not reflect on the offensive line? Why does it look like year 1, like on offense, it feels like year 1? I don't know what the hell this team is. I don't know what their identity is. They're still running on first down. They're still doing the quarterback draws on 3rd and goal. It is horrible. KJ, the quarterback draw, it's like it works 1 out of 7 times. When I mean works, he might reel off an 8 or 9 yard run. What's his longest run out of the draw this year? Does he have one 15-yard run maybe? Maybe he's got more week 1 when they played a horrible opponent. There's no fixing this offense. There is no fixing it. Doesn't mean they're gonna never score. Like, they're capable of scoring simply because they have raw enough talent that they should be able to at least to put 20 points on the board. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't know that you play another defense like you did tonight. I think everyone else, maybe Mississippi State, everyone else's defense is way better. Alabama's defense is way better. I think Ole Miss is about to hit a wall. I do. I think they're, they did escape LSU, but I think they're eventually the grind of the season, I think, is going to catch up to them. They might finish 9-3, 10-2, which is still a great year for them. It'd be a hell of a year. Arkansas fans would probably, I don't know what they would do for a 10-win season this year. It's unbelievable. Can we try Hornsby at wide receiver? # we suck again. Terser87 with a super chat also says, heads up. Head so far up our asses. It's extra stinky. I don't know if there's just an unwillingness to fix or if there's an unwillingness from Enos or Pittman to I don't know, do something resembling what they did under Kendall Briles, with the veer and shoot. I'm not saying you got to run the veer and shoot. I'm not saying you got to go look for his playbook somewhere. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying you're gonna stay up tonight at midnight texting him like, hey, bro, you mind giving us some of those play sheets? You mind forwarding me some of those play sheets? How did you utilize KJ? How'd you do it? Because we don't know how to do it. Ole Miss fan, Addison broke with a $10 super chat. I appreciate that. I give credit where credit is due. I was expecting this to be a wild one. It almost was. Yeah, they covered the spread. Arkansas covered the spread. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Addison. You're very much like our boy Neil, who's a Mississippi State fan who comes through. You're very respectful, so I do appreciate you, even though sometimes I might dog your Rebels a little bit. Again, I think they're gonna have a good year. But when I mean hit a wall, I think their offense is going to slow down a little bit. They're still a top 3, top 4. You're only getting 4 words. Hey, Ty, check your audio, please. I'm only getting every 4 words. It might be your internet. Are you guys having problems hearing me? That might be on you, Solo. I don't know. No one else is complaining about it. Ty, this line has progressively gotten worse since Kennedy took over. It's wild to think that just 2 years from 2021, you're this bad on the offensive line. No, it's good on my end. Perfect here. Yeah, I think that might be you, Solo. You might have bad internet connection. Listen, fans deserve better. Hog fans deserve better. I'm sorry for those of you who drove over there. Look, at least it was a decent game. I thought Arkansas was going to get waxed. I thought this was going to be a 17, maybe a 20-point loss. They actually hung in there. You know why they hung in there? They hung in there because their defense. That's their defense. That's why they hung in there. This defense, it feels like such a waste once again to have a defense play this well, this hard, till the whistle blows, till the minutes are up in the game, not the quarter, not the half, but the game. The end of the fourth quarter, they play their asses off. In the offense, there's just a refusal to fix. There's a refusal for heads to roll. I'm telling you, the change feels so obvious at this point. You hold Ole Miss. This defense holds Ole Miss to 0 for their first 8 third downs? 0 for 8 on third down, and you still were you were praying to the gods above you could at least get some points off a drive. Arkansas's opening drive. By the way, very first play, it's a fumble. I think Rocket may have mishandled the ball. I think KJ might have been a little late on the give. Went nowhere. And then eventually they faced a third down, and I guess Ole Miss got a flag. It was a soft PI call on Ole Miss. It rejuvenated Arkansas. They were able to go down the field and score. Eventually Ole Miss would get it figured out, but 15 plays on that drive, 80 yards. The next drive, Ole Miss, so their opening drive, Ole Miss has to punt. The next drive, they have to settle for a field goal. And eventually it's 10-7. Do I have more super chats here? I'm sorry. I'm trying to – we've got the 3. I'm going to make sure I got all these read. There we go. Okay. Yeah, super chat is up. I appreciate you guys. It's kind of hard to believe, and my father-in-law actually just texted me, 36 total yards rushing. 36 total yards rushing for Arkansas. 29 carries, 36 yards. KJ, once again, even with a clean pocket, he threw an interception. That was a clean pocket pick. I think that's back-to-back weeks he's done that. Raheem Sanders, Rocket, 8 carries, 15 yards. Listen, it's real easy to say, oh, well, the running backs have regressed. Come on, man. Are you buying that? Do you really think it's the running backs have regressed, or is it? I don't know. The offensive line is just shit. Is that those kind of go hand in hand. When you don't have gaps to run through, when the defense realizes we could stop them. We could stack. We could stack 7 or 8 guys in the box. We'll be fine. There's no real vertical threat, although I thought KJ did do a pretty good job. Ty Washington tonight really came through big time. He was the star of this offense. And not to say that KJ didn't put this team on his shoulders, because he certainly tried. He ran on that third down, barreled over an Ole Miss player, pick up the first down. You can't take anything away. And I'm not trying to dump on these kids, because they do want to win. It is absolutely on this coaching staff. It's on someone's unwillingness to make the necessary changes. Would Nick Saban put up with this? Would Nick Saban put up with this? I don't think he would. I don't think Nick Saban would do this or put up with it. Now, before you start comparing the coaches and before you start comparing what they have to work with, I mean, think why Nick Saban got to the level that he's at. And I'm not saying that Sam – I'm not trying to compare the two, because clearly Saban is one of the greatest of all time. It's not fair to compare to one of the greatest head coaches of all time, if not the greatest. But I think at some level you have to start comparing some decision-making, right? Heads haven't been rolling. And I don't know why. I don't know why not. I don't know why there's not the necessary changes that need to be made. KJ tonight, 25 of 39, 252 yards, just under 7 yards per completion, guys. That's horrible. A lot of behind the line of scrimmage passes, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. KJ Jefferson ran, of course, not all, TFLs and sacks, they all count against you, but 17 carries, 11 yards. Rashard Dominion had 1 decent carry. He had an 11-yard run. That was I didn't know it was that long. They have it down for 11. But it was technically, because he was stopped behind the line, it was actually 4 carries on the night for 10 yards. So 36 yards, 1.2 yards per carry. We're watching a bus in a slow, it's a car accident, and it's happening in slow motion. This team is going to be lucky to get to 5 wins this year. Where are those wins? Mississippi State? Okay. FIU? 4-8. You guys remember I said this. The further south you get from 6 wins, I think the less likely Sam returns. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but 4-8. 4-8, 10 wins in 2 years. 10 regular season wins in 2 years. You've declined, and it's not getting any prettier. I was hoping the offense would show up and show us something tonight, and they didn't. But again, at least Ty Washington really came through in replacing Luke Has. 7 grabs again for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Andrew Armstrong looked pretty good. Rocket Sanders caught the ball 3 times, 26 yards. Again, Andrew Armstrong had 8 catches, 86 yards, so that's almost 11 yards per reception. Ty Washington almost 13 yards per reception. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different targets tonight for KJ. That's usually a recipe for some kind of positivity out of the offense when you're not having to just rely on 1 or 2 targets. And once again, they just 8 tackles for loss for Arkansas. They had 2 sacks. 9 TFLs for Ole Miss with 5 sacks. I don't, and everyone, they keep trying to bring up records. Bro, I'm happy for KJ. I really am happy. I'm sure he's proud of himself, or at least I hope that he is. But at the end of the day, I really hope he doesn't give a shit about records. I really hope Sam Pittman is like, you know what, that's great. And I know he's kind of commented on this a little bit. That's great, but we have to work on fixing just what the hell's wrong with this offense. That's what people keep, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Well, in comes a pro-style offense. It doesn't fit him. And this offense they struggle to score 20 points on one of the bottom 4 defenses in this league. Ole Miss got the run game going a little bit tonight. They had 45 carries for 196 yards. It was mostly Bentley and a lot of junk yards at the end of the game. I say junk yards. In other words, when the defense is already, they're exhausted. Overall, I think Arkansas's defense is good. I think it's fair to say they're a good defense. And it's fair to say the offense is horse shit. Let me get caught up on Super Chat. Oh, wow, we got a couple more. Wilson Wood says, I'm not going to read that. Come on, Wilson. Come on, man. Let's not do that. Let's not take cheap shots. KJ was a top 1 or 2 quarterback of the SEC for 2 years. What's different this year? Enos, the constipation king. Tim, what? Please, Sam, fire him tonight. Let Cody Clark carry the bag, or let Cody K carry the bag. Changes need to be made. I agree. It's beyond infuriating with what's happening with this offense. It's crazy to think that, 2021 teams were terrified of Arkansas. They didn't want to play them. They were physical. They were fast on both sides of the ball. KJ he was terrifying for defenders. The offense was so effective. It felt like the pieces were in the right. The board was set and the pieces were where they were supposed to be. This year, it's like someone just picked the chessboard up and threw it up in the air and said to hell with it. This is the saddest team since Chad Morris. This is 2019 all over again. It feels just like it. Now, I do agree. I think they are probably going to give him another year. I think Hunter's going to give him another year to try and fix what went wrong this year, and maybe that's it. I don't know. Smock Short says he looks just out of shape. To me, in 2021, he was athletically fit with more speed and power. He looks slow. Have you guys noticed how many plays just look like they develop so slow? Everything, they're all just so slow. There's no rhythm. There's no chemistry. There's no flow with this offense. There's no consistency. And when people ask me, like, Ty, what's the answer? Can we give Kendall Briles a phone call? Can someone hit him up, be like, yo, KB, I know we didn't end on the best of terms, but can you tell me just how the hell you made this offense work with KJ? Because clearly he can't run this pistol pro-style offense. He can't do it. He's slow when he does have a clean pocket, his numbers are bad, you guys. His clean pocket pass percentage, completion percentage has not been good for back-to-back weeks. I'm going to be curious what it looks like. I think that'll get refreshed Sunday sometime. If he would just eat our spinach like Popeye, we'd play better. Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying, Tercer. Appreciate the super chats. Kick the tires on Urban Myers. You managed to make that rhyme. That was actually pretty good. Make sure you guys like and share the stream. Please make sure you share and like. I definitely do not have this team. Someone DM me. What are our odds of going bowling? I'd say next to 0. KJ can't read it all, man. I post snap, like the RPO. He even looks lost out of the RPO when they run it. I mean, it's just everything they do is so slow on offense. It's just crazy. Mike Elko for head coach. What's up, Kelly Murray? Long time no see. Hope all's well, Kelly. David Dixon says Pittman doesn't deserve another year. Year 4 in this O-line is one of the worst in the country. It's kind of crazy because last year, while they had their issues, look at how far they've fallen up front on the offensive line. And again, it's such a shame because it feels like the defense, it feels like such a wasted year. It's incredible. Definitely not going bowling. Forget that. Yeah, looking at the total numbers, you did manage to hold Ole Miss at 349 yards of offense. They were 4-14 on third down. Just 153 yards passing. Guys, I mean, oh, man. Yeah, they ran the ball with some success. Bentley looks better to me than Judkins. Arkansas again hit with the bugaboo with the penalties. Of course, it's too much to ask this team to keep it in single digits in back-to-back weeks. They had no penalties last week. 10 penalties tonight for 70 yards. Ole Miss hit with just 5 for 44. I would argue about 80% of those were probably the right call. And what's sad is like 2 or 3 of Ole Miss's flags were not good calls. 10 penalties, 10 flags. Luckily, it was just 70 yards. Wasn't, we're not talking hundo. 2 turnovers. Arkansas 1 for 1 on fourth down. Did you see them convert that fourth down? That was actually a good play call. And that's what's crazy. Like, a couple of those drives were really well put together. I'll say all their scoring drives were pretty well put together. Of course, because they ended in points, but still. How about Cam Little tonight, 2 for 2? He had a 56-yarder. When was the last time Arkansas did that? Who was the last kicker? Did he hit a 56? Man. Again, it's like even though special teams tonight probably took a little bit of a step back, it still feels like this is the best we have seen the defense under Sam Pittman, and it's the best we've seen special teams under Sam Pittman. And, of course, the offense decides to take a shit in 2023. It's incredible. The 56-yarder would have been good from 60. I agree, Mike. I agree, Eagle. La Suzo Eagle. Punting on the 37. Why not Cam? 1988, Ash says. Holy crap. Bro, I was 5 years old. 12 men on the field to, yeah, 12 men on the field. 4 years in, yeah, again, they took a step back this year other than, Cam Little looked pretty good. It's a damn shame. Hire Kevin Kelly as a consultant. If I was an NFL scout, I would tell the organization, don't draft KJ. Arkansas offensive coordinator is not that good either, says WCS. Enos might as well pack his bags tonight. I'd be shocked if they did anything like that. I really would. I would be shocked. Shout out to the Super Chats tonight. Make sure you guys hit if you're new here, make sure you hit the sub. Make sure you also like the stream, share the content. It's tiring, man. I knew when Ole Miss that last drive, I knew we've seen this movie before. We've seen it. Bring Chad Morris back. Now, let's not get too crazy. Why can't we ever go with the hot hand? We went away from Washington for a half. Well, I do think, especially in that second quarter, you saw they started to smother him up. They did a pretty good job. Ole Miss did a pretty good job of keeping him out for a little bit, and then the second half he came back, and honestly, I mean he's MVP. I want to give the entire defense MVP. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for, did you guys see that hit Centennia took? Oh my gosh, he got rocked. Very impressed with the defense. I mean, it goes back to the quality of depth. I told you guys, I feel good about the direction the defensive line is taking. Now, am I a little bit surprised they're not, like Landon Jackson's not having that, a great year? I really thought he'd be in the 6 to 7 sacks on the year territory. He's not. Trajan Jeffcoat had 3 TFLs tonight with a sack. Or Trajan. I'm sorry. It's Trajan, right? I'll just call him Jeffcoat. We all know who I'm talking about. Jeffcoat looked really good tonight. Really, again, I'm just impressed that front 6, front 7, whatever they decide to do. They mostly like to bring about 6. Well, 6 in the box. They rush 4, every once in a while 5. Jordan Crook got some action tonight. I thought Jalen Braxton looked pretty good. Again, man, you had 8 TFLs. That's not a bad number at all with a couple of sacks. Like, that's good enough where you're at least – you feel like that's good enough for a defense to put you in a decent position to at least make it a game. And then the secondary, I thought, did a pretty good job. They had 4 pass breakups. Jalen Braxton tonight had 2 pass breakups. Chris Paul had 1, and I don't know where the 4th is. They may have their numbers mixed up. But I know Braxton had at least 2. Everyone did. I think most everyone on defense did their part. Again, they didn't play perfect. We can talk about, a couple of plays here and there. Offensive line is just lost. Dan Enos is lost. KJ is lost with a clean pocket. As soon as that pocket starts to crumble, he hesitates. It's just, I don't think it gets. I don't know. I don't know how soon this all gets fixed. I don't know if it will. I don't think that I don't think it gets fixed. What's up, Richard Neal? How you doing, man? You guys can rush the field when you destroy my state team. At least you guys have a reason. Mississippi State's head coach died. May he rest in peace, Pirate. That's not anybody's fault. You guys have an excuse. Arkansas has no excuse to be this bad. No excuse to be this bad. Like, look, we could say, they're a little bit overhyped. 8, 9 wins might have been a little too high, but yeah, 6 or 7 wins, like that's where they should be at the very least. And they're not even, I don't know that I see 5 wins. I don't understand what direction this team is trying to take. How are things this bad on the offensive line? How are they this bad? I got another squeaky chair, by the way. It's a new chair, and it's awfully comfortable. By the way, Kelly Marie, if you're in chat, I got a new chair. My wife bought it for me, but it squeaks a little bit. Ty, your channel is my only form of therapy I can get for Razorback sports. Listen, basketball season's almost here. I'm really excited about that. Might as well move on from Sam, so no need to drag it out. We all know he isn't going to get it done. Well, I mean, we've not even began to discuss his buyout and everything else. It isn't that easy to just fire someone, right? It's a lot more complicated, and I have a feeling they might even go 4-8 and they keep him. They're going to give him, and I said it back then, and I stick to it. That 2021 season bought him 5 years. It bought him 5 years. Now, I still also believe the further south he goes from 6 wins, the less likely he keeps his job. So let's say he does lose out. He does manage to lose to Mississippi State. He does somehow, oh my God, if he loses to FIU, fans are going to, oh man, I mean, it's going to get buck wild. Then he doesn't survive. 2-10, 3-9. How? Like, what's your reasoning? I mean, you would have to double your win total just to start talking about being bowl eligible. I'll laugh if we beat Bama. That ain't happening. Them and Georgia are starting to find themselves on offense. I would rather go 3-9 and get rid of Sam. Go 5-7 to keep him. Yeah. Curtis, you could say that all you want, but if he finishes with 5 wins, he's going to come back. Respect FIU. They beat North Texas. What did Manny say? You guys are getting on to Manny. What did he say? Pittman is a good coach. He's having a bad season. Well, they underperformed last year. Barely got to 6 wins. They had some moral victories. You know. Really good at that. 3 or 4 of those that still, you know, they're just moral victories. T-Will for head hog. Where does he get 5 wins? Listen, I'm not arguing with you that like I said, I don't know where 5. I said that earlier. Maybe you're just getting in here, but I said earlier I don't know where the 5 wins come from. Mississippi State and FIU at the moment, and neither one of those are given. Not with the way this offense is playing. Now, the way your defense is playing, they're going to put you in position. They're going to prop up the offense as they've done all year long. And I fully expect this defense to have a weekend where they just get shit on. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's going to be a week, or, you know, knock on wood. But, I mean, you know, the typical grind of the SEC, it catches up to you. But I don't know where 5 wins. I don't know. Mississippi State, FIU, maybe Auburn. Maybe Auburn. None of these are given. Losing those games are on the table. Losing out is absolutely it's on the table. All he has to do is beat Bama and he'll easily buy another year or 2. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Curtis, I think you're arguing with yourself, man. I mean, the reality of the situation is what it is. He's going to keep his job if he wins 5 games. It's just they're not gonna fire him. Year 2 bought him 5 years. It absolutely did. Assuming he doesn't get underneath. Now, again, what I'm saying is if he, 4 or less, 4-3-2, that's a different story. But you're arguing with yourself if you don't think if he gets to 5 wins, he's keeping his job, and they're going to spin it where he gets it. They're going to say Hunter Yurchuk will come out and say it. We're going to give him a year to get it fixed. Now maybe he fires some people. I don't know. Should he be doing that right now? Probably. Ty, what are the chances Rick Schaefer blames the lack of attendance against Mississippi State on hunting season? Well, I mean, let's not act like hunting season doesn't have an impact when Arkansas's bad. And they're bad this year, guys. They're bad. He should retire if he had any respect for the what? Jack Bauer says you can't go into next year with a lame duck coach and no coordinators. No coordinators will come work for you because they know you are about to get fired. Well, that is actually a good point. That's actually a really good point. I mean, if your seat is on fire, and again, if he wins 5 games, he is number 1 on the hot seat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that next year, meaning he'll have to have a good year. So yeah, I mean, what coordinator is going to want to take that job? You're going to have a lot on your hands. You're going to have a lot to deal with. Who wants that job? I mean, and they may be forced to stick with Enos. Oh, God, I said it. I said it. I see an FIU win, and that's it. The offensive line is terrible. Enos is lost. Yeah. I don't know what the answer is, man. I don't know what it is. Firing Kennedy, firing Enos. But I'm not suggesting. I did a couple of weeks ago, or no, that was last weekend. I did last weekend, and I was furious. I don't know what the answer is. But I just don't see it getting fixed, no matter what they do. You remember 2019 when they fired Chad? Now, nobody expected Barry Lunny, who came in as an interim head coach, to come in and just fix all the problems. He didn't. I mean, we knew he wouldn't. It was, oddly enough, they had a better product on the field, but it looked more organized. They actually were, I mean, you felt bad for everybody involved, but you felt like, okay, this is probably what we should have looked like at the beginning of the year, despite losing those games. I understand why Pittman fired Briles. Well, he didn't. I don't know that it went down that way exactly. I understand why Pittman fired Briles, but in hindsight, it probably wasn't a good idea. I think he was taking that TCU job no matter what, man. Do you think Enos does better with Criswell? Listen, I do watch. I watch Criswell throw the ball a lot in practice. I don't film it because there's all kinds of film on Criswell throwing the ball. But I do watch him, and sometimes I do film him, and I don't publish the video. He throws a good ball. He looks pretty confident in the offense. But it's one thing to do it in fastball. It's one thing to do it, mostly what we see are individual groups. That's the majority of what we see. We get to watch fastball. That's where you get the most intel comes from fastball in terms of who's playing where and whatever. It's mostly a depth chart thing. It's mostly okay, he's here, he's there. This guy's lining up in the slot. This guy's lining up at tight end. But Criswell does look comfortable. But that's practice, man. We're talking about practice. I don't know that the lights come on for him. If he were to be called up, I don't know. What I do know is maybe that is some of the change that needs to happen. Maybe KJ needs to feel like his ass is on the line. Maybe that's what this team is missing. Maybe the whole loyalty thing. Listen, man, we got to win games. Fans want a better product, and maybe the answer is Criswell. I'm skeptical of that because we haven't seen him. There's not enough there to tell us one way or another. I don't know that he lines up and all of a sudden the offense is rocking and rolling. Everybody loves the shiny new thing. Malik Hornsby, you guys were telling me, not all of you, but some of you were telling me Malik Hornsby's going to pass KJ up. I mean, we always love the shiny new thing. I think the system is in the trouble that it's in mostly because they didn't do a very good job in the offseason of either just getting the install in complete. Maybe they just thought, well, these guys can run it, and that's all that mattered. Maybe the offense is too complex. Maybe, Sam Pittman talked about simplifying the offense. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe they did a little bit of that today because we did see some signs of life on offense, but I would argue, well, that's because of the defense that you just played. That's not a good defense. Ole Miss is a bottom 4 of the SEC defense. At least based on what we've seen. I could give a shit about stats. Like, I've not been impressed with their defense based on what I've watched. And I said that about LSU, 2 weeks before we played them. I think their defense is sus. And look at them. That is the worst defense in the SEC. They're horrible. I think Fayetteville High could go toe-to-toe with LSU, at least their defense. But there needs to be some drastic changes made. I don't have all the answers. I'm not paid, like Mike Irwin said, I'm not paid to make that decision, but it's clear that a decision needs to be made. Either Hunter Yurchek needs to have a sit-down with Sam or Sam with his staff. Maybe he already has. I don't know. I will say, like I said in the halftime show in Discord, hang on. It's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a depressing ride. It's not going to – I don't think it's going to have the ending that you're hoping for. It's going to feel long because it feels like it's going to be a really long rest of the season. But the basketball ride should be better, a lot better, much better product on the floor than what we're seeing on the field from the football team. 3-9, 4-8 looks very probable. There is a possibility of not winning another game. I'm not saying that it's a high possibility. I think they are better than Mississippi State. I think they are better than FIU. I think I don't know how to compare them to Auburn. I think they should be able to beat Auburn. But realistically, 4 to 5 wins is probably what this team's looking at. It is what it is. I know some people want me to sit here and only look at the bright side. But you know what? The only bright side is the defense. That's it. And I feel really bad for those guys. The staff has done such an incredible job with this defense. Night and day compared to the last 3 years. I mean, let's be real. They may not have the sack numbers that they had last year, but they're doing their part, man. I mean, the defense, it's so clear that side of the ball took a huge step forward. And the offense went so far backwards they fell over a cliff. And I'm not sure they can climb their way out of it, their way back up. James Swope says Arkansas and Vandy have the same record. Well, I mean, baseball has number 2 class in the country. Yeah, the baseball ride's always fun. All right, that's going to do it. I do appreciate you guys. Make sure you like the stream. I know this one was rough. It was negative. But man, I didn't know where to begin. I want to say a special shout out to the sponsors: Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, Same Day Services, Quality Parts, Affordable Outcomes. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. Also, the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria. Listen, I know Mississippi State tickets are going to be dirt cheap. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're going to be dirt cheap. So if you just want to come to town, go to the Odd Soul. Or right here in Springdale, south side of town, on Emma Street. Awesome pies, great stuff on tap, wonderful staff, great environment. If you want to sit and watch some games, they've got TVs all over that place. Really good people and good service and good pies. I know a lot of people have let go of the rope. I don't blame anybody. All I'm going to say is I'm going to be here for post-game basketball. Now, the Purdue game is still up in the air. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do there, but I want to do the post-game show for that, but I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to. So I'll try to keep you guys up to date. Again, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. I saw a ton of new people. I hope you guys subscribed. I do every post-game show, and I'm going to have 2 to 3 live shows during the week, typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So what are the chances they can Pittman and what? I'm not sure I understand. Carter, what are you saying here? What are the chances they can Pittman and make Travis Williams? Oh, they can fire Pittman. Not very high, Carter. I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah, so I do appreciate you guys. All the Patreon supporters, holy crap. You guys were incredible. We had a great month in September. Please, if you want to join the Patreon, I didn't really push it this show, but man, it goes a long way supporting this channel. It's an independent channel. I don't have, 247 backing me. I don't have rivals. I don't have any website backing me up. It's just me, independent guy, small business owner here, trying to do my best to bring you guys some quality content, quality Razorback content, even in the dark times. We're back in the dark times, unfortunately, for football, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, baby. Basketball and baseball is always there for redemption for Hog fans. All right? I'll see you guys next week. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.